Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our discussion today. We are gathered to explore a topic that many schools and parents think about. Should students be required to wear uniforms in school? It's a question with strong arguments on both sides, and we aim to explore them thoroughly. Joining us today are two experienced educators with different views on this matter. First, we have Ms. Sarah Chen, a school principal who believes school uniforms are beneficial for students and schools. Welcome, Ms. Chen. And arguing against mandatory school uniforms is Mr. Tom Carter, a high school teacher and a parent. Welcome, Mr. Carter. Our debate will begin with opening statements from each of our guests. After that, we will have a couple of rounds of discussion where I will ask some specific questions. Finally, each speaker will give a closing statement to summarize their points. Let's begin with Ms. Chen's opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I believe strongly that school uniforms are a positive and necessary part of a good school environment. One of the most important reasons for uniforms is that they promote equality among students. When all students wear the same clothes, it reduces the pressure related to fashion and brands. This means students from different economic backgrounds feel more equal and less judged by what they wear. This can significantly decrease socioeconomic bullying, where students are picked on because their clothes are not fashionable or, quote, expensive enough. Uniforms help create a level playing field, where students can focus on their studies and friendships, not on who has the latest designer items. Secondly, school uniforms enhance school safety and discipline. When students are in uniform, it is much easier for school staff to identify who belongs on the school campus and who does not. This is a simple but effective safety measure, helping to keep unauthorized individuals out of the school. Moreover, wearing a uniform can encourage a more serious and focused atmosphere in the school. It signals that school is a place for learning and work, similar to how adults wear specific attire for their jobs. This can lead to improved student behavior and a greater respect for the school rules and environment. Finally, uniforms play a key role in fostering a sense of community and school spirit. When everyone wears the same uniform, it creates a feeling of unity and belonging among students. They are all part of the same team, representing their school. This shared identity can strengthen school pride and encourage students to support each other and their school's values. It helps to build a positive school culture where students feel connected and proud to be part of their institution. In summary, uniforms contribute to equality, safety, discipline, and a strong sense of community. These are all vital elements for a successful and supportive learning environment for our children.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. While I understand Ms. Chen's points, I believe that mandatory school uniforms have several significant drawbacks. My primary concern is that uniforms suppress individuality and self-expression, which are crucial for a student's development. Clothing is a way for young people to explore their identity, to show their personality, and to be creative. When we force all students to wear the same thing, we take away an important avenue for them to express who they are. School should be a place where students learn to think for themselves and develop their unique identities, not a place where conformity is enforced. This doesn't prepare them for a diverse world where they will need to make their own choices about how they present themselves. Another major issue is the financial burden that uniforms place on families, especially those with multiple children or limited incomes. Uniforms can be expensive, and parents have to buy specific items from specific suppliers, which often cost more than regular clothes. Children also grow quickly, meaning uniforms need to be replaced frequently, adding to the cost. While some schools might offer assistance, it's not always enough, and many families struggle with this extra expense. Furthermore, the argument that uniforms prevent bullying is, in my opinion, overly simplistic. Bullying is a complex issue with deep roots, and it doesn't disappear just because everyone is wearing the same outfit. Bullies will find other reasons to target their victims, whether it's based on appearance, academic ability, or social status. Focusing on uniforms as a solution distracts from addressing the real causes of bullying, such as teaching empathy, respect, and conflict resolution. Lastly, there are practical concerns regarding comfort and suitability for different activities. Some uniform policies can be very rigid, with specific fabrics or styles that may not be comfortable for all students, especially in different weather conditions. Students need to be comfortable to learn effectively, and ill-fitting or uncomfortable uniforms can be a distraction. In conclusion, while the intentions behind school uniforms might be good, they restrict self-expression, create financial stress, don't truly solve bullying, and can be impractical. We should focus on creating inclusive school environments that celebrate diversity and individuality, rather than imposing uniformity.
Thank you both for your insightful opening statements. Ms. Chen, you mentioned that uniforms can reduce bullying related to socioeconomic status. Mr. Carter, however, argued that uniforms don't address the root causes of bullying. Ms. Chen, how would you respond to the idea that uniforms are a superficial fix for such a complex problem?
Thank you. While I agree that bullying is complex, uniforms are not meant to be the sole solution, but they are a valuable part of a larger anti-bullying strategy. By removing the obvious differences in clothing and brands, we eliminate one common trigger for teasing and exclusion. This doesn't mean bullying will vanish completely, but it reduces the opportunities for it based on appearance or economic background. It allows schools to focus their anti-bullying efforts on other aspects, like behavior and social skills, knowing that one major source of contention is already minimized. So it's not a superficial fix, but a practical step that makes the school environment less materialistic and more focused on who students are, not what they wear.
Mr. Carter, your response to Ms. Chen's point that uniforms, while not a complete solution, help reduce a specific trigger for bullying?
I understand the intention, but I still believe it's a superficial approach. Removing one potential trigger, like clothing, doesn't change the bully's mindset or the victim's vulnerability. Bullies are adept at finding other differences to exploit. Perhaps it's a student's accent, their grades, their hairstyle, or even the condition of their uniform if it's not perfectly new. The resources, time, and energy spent on implementing and enforcing uniform policies could be much better invested in comprehensive anti-bullying programs. These programs should focus on teaching empathy, conflict resolution, and creating a culture of respect, which address the root causes far more effectively than a dress code.
Let's move to another key point, the financial aspect. Mr. Carter, you raised concerns about the cost of uniforms being a burden for families. Ms. Chen, you argued that uniforms can be economical. Could you elaborate on how uniforms might actually save families money in the long run, despite the initial outlay?
Certainly. While there is an initial cost, many schools work hard to ensure uniforms are affordable. They often choose durable, reasonably priced items and may negotiate bulk prices with suppliers. More importantly, uniforms can reduce the overall spending on children's clothing throughout the year. Without uniforms, there's often significant pressure on students to keep up with fast-changing fashion trends, which can be very expensive for parents. Uniforms eliminate this daily competition over branded clothing. Parents don't have to buy a wide variety of outfits for school. Many schools also have programs for secondhand uniforms or provide financial assistance to families who need it, making it even more manageable. So when you consider the reduction in spending on trendy clothes and the availability of support, uniforms can indeed be more economical over time.
Mr. Carter, what's your perspective on this? Can uniforms truly be more cost-effective for families?
I remain skeptical about the overall cost-effectiveness for many families. The initial outlay for one or two sets of uniforms, especially if a family has multiple children, can be a significant financial shock. Children grow out of clothes quickly, so uniforms often need to be replaced annually, if not more frequently. And let's be realistic, students still need regular clothes for evenings, weekends, and holidays, so the uniform expense is an additional cost, not a replacement for all clothing costs. While secondhand programs and assistance are helpful, they aren't always available or sufficient to cover the full burden for every family in need. The argument that it saves money from fashion pressure assumes all parents would otherwise spend excessively, which isn't always true. Many families are already budget conscious.
In closing, I want to re-emphasize the significant benefits that school uniforms bring to our educational institutions. They are a powerful tool for promoting equality, ensuring that students are judged on their character and abilities, not their family's income or fashion sense. This reduction in socioeconomic distinctions directly contributes to a more inclusive and less judgmental school atmosphere. Uniforms enhance safety by making it easy to identify students and distinguish them from outsiders, which is a fundamental aspect of a secure learning environment. They also instill a sense of discipline and preparedness for learning, setting a tone for serious academic work. Furthermore, uniforms cultivate a strong sense of community and school pride, uniting students under a common identity. This shared identity can lead to greater respect among peers and a more positive school culture overall. Ultimately, by minimizing distractions and fostering a more focused, equitable, and safe environment, school uniforms allow students and teachers to concentrate on what truly matters: education. They are a practical and effective way to support a positive and productive learning experience for all students.
To conclude, while I acknowledge the good intentions behind school uniform policies, I maintain that their drawbacks outweigh the perceived benefits. My primary concern remains the suppression of individuality and self-expression, which are vital for students' personal growth and development. School should be a place that encourages students to discover and articulate who they are, not a place that imposes uniformity. The financial burden on families, particularly those already struggling, cannot be ignored. Uniforms represent an additional, often significant, expense. Moreover, presenting uniforms as a solution to complex issues like bullying is a superficial approach. It distracts from the need for deeper, more meaningful interventions. We need to teach empathy, respect for differences, and conflict resolution skills, rather than simply trying to make everyone look the same. True safety and a positive school climate come from fostering a culture of mutual respect and understanding, not from dress codes. Instead of focusing on conformity, let's empower students to celebrate diversity and express their identities responsibly. Our goal should be to create schools where students feel valued for their unique contributions, not for their ability to blend in.
Thank you, Ms. Chan and Mr. Carter, for this engaging and thoughtful debate on school uniforms. You've both presented compelling arguments that give our audience much to consider on this important topic. We appreciate your time and expertise today, and thank you to our audience for listening.